Hey guys, this is Mateus. Welcome to Discussing Literature. Hope you're okay. Today we are going to discuss The Knight's Tale by Geoffrey Chaucer. And here with me,
Hi, I'm Beatriz.
Hi guys, I'm Thiago.
Hi, Karen here.
And I am Roberta.
to start, Bia will give us a little panorama on this tale.
Well, the tale covers the story of two knights, Arcita and Palamon. They were found by King Theseus after losing a battle for him. They were the only survivors. Theseus the king decided to arrest them.
Wow, that moment when they are arrested should be interesting. Let's see how it went.
So it happened in the heap. They came upon two young knights, lying near each other, pierced through and through by many grievous bloody wounds, both bearing arms of one style, richly fashioned. Of these two, the one was called Arcita, and the other knight Palamon. Out of the heap, the pillagers dragged them and bore them softly to Theseus' tent, and he dispatched them immediately to Athens to dwell in prison perpetually.
I'm wondering why the king didn't kill them. What's on your thoughts, guys?
I believe that Theseus did not just kill the two soldiers because he thought they could serve him. But if he were wrong, an order from him would be enough for everything to change. And you, Karen, what do you think?
For me, it's pretty obvious because of power. Locking someone up gives a higher and stronger sense of power than simply killing them. Knowing you have two people miserably living just because of you, just because you said so, it's a revenge you get to taste every day.
Well, they were the only survivors of the battle, so perhaps the king thought that the two were the best soldiers. And I don't know, trying to demonstrate some power, he shows that the best soldiers of the other kingdoms are only prisoners for him. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. But I don't think it was only to demonstrate power, but also to look good for the society. After all, he was a king.
Indeed. It turns out that while they were in prison, they spotted the king's daughter with some difficulty, and her name was Emily. Both fell in love with her, Arcite and Philemon. Rivalry begins there, and they swear to win it as soon as they leave this prison.
Let's see how they got out of this prison. The first one was Arcita, thanks to a friend, who begs the king for the freedom of one of them.
It happened one day, to tell you shortly, that a dwarf duke named Pyrrhus, a friend to Duke Theseus since they were little children, had come to Athens to visit his fellow, for he so loved no other man in this world, and Theseus loved him as tenderly. Duke Pyrrhus loved Arcita well. Finally, at the prayer of Pyrrhus, Duke Theseus released him from prison without ransom. This, in short, was the agreement of Arcita, that if he ever in his life were found by day or night in any realm of Theseus and were caught, he should lose his head by the sword. For, to tell shortly, Palamon is perpetually doomed to prison, to die in chains and fetters, and Arcita is exiled on pain of death from that country forevermore, and nevermore shall he see his lady. You lovers, I ask now the question, which is in the worst case, Palamon or Arcita?
Wow, what a question. I would prefer freedom, although it's very difficult to live without seeing who you love.
I think both situations are really bad. Freedom seems to be better for sure, but being forbidden to return to the kingdom of his love wouldn't be a type of reason, but I don't know, with a bigger self.
I agree with Tiago. Not being able to go back to the kingdom and stay away from the one you love is just a more flexible type of prison.
I agree, Mateus. I believe freedom would be the best option in this case, although to me it seems that what Arcida got was only a physical way to be free, since his mind and heart were stuck in a place he couldn't be anymore.
So we all agree that out of sight, out of mind defines our thoughts about our serious situation. But it turns out that Palamon manages to escape from prison.
Now, in the seventh year, on the third night of May, as the old books tell which relate this history more fully, whether it was by chance or by destiny, that when a thing is decreed it shall be, Palamon, soon after midnight, by the help of a friend, broke from his prison and fled the city as fast as he could go. He had given his jailer a drink out of cordiality, made of a certain wine with narcotics and fine opium of thieves, so he would remain asleep during all night, even if men should strike him. And although Palamon fled away as fast as he could ever go, the night was short and dawn was at hand. He had to hide, and to a nearby grove he crept with fearful foot. For in short, this was his intent, to hide himself in that grove all day, and at night to take the road towards Thebes, and pray his friends to help him war upon Theseus. And in brief, either he should lose his life or win Emily in marriage.
Now that they are both released from prison, there will be a dispute over the princess. Palamon has a small advantage because he is still living in the city. Meanwhile, exiled Palamon says he can't live without Emily anymore.
Surely, so we get along in this world. We seek diligently after felicity, but in truth often we're wrong. Thus may we all say, and chiefly I, that suppose and had a great notion that if I could escape from prison, I would in well-being and perfect joy, where now I am exiled from my happiness, since I cannot see you, Emily. I am but dead, nothing can cure me.
This leads the two knights to score a duel.
Let's see how it goes.
At the appointment time and place, Arcite and Palamon met. Then the color in their visages began to change.
Here comes my mortal foe. Without fail, either he or I must die. For I must slay him at this moment, or he me, if ill comes to me.
You might judge that Palamon in his fighting were a mad lion and Narcita a cruel tiger. They struck against each other like wild animals that fight over food in mad anger. Up to the ankles, they fought in blood.
Funny how the two fight over a woman they don't even know if she likes them. She didn't want to marry any of them, and actually, they had no information about her feelings.
Right? This demonstrates such a platonic tone.
Oh, you guys think in such a romantic way? Yes, they could be in love, but they also could be just fighting over power, disputing the big prize, an object, or should I say, Emily?
Women shouldn't be forced to marry, they do not need it to be happy.
The king's involvement led them to a more elaborate duel with Princess Emily as a prize. Thinking about the great event that was going to happen, each one of them says a prayer for a different god. Palamon prays to Venus, Emily prays to Diana, and Arcita to Mars.
Sunday night, before daybreak, when Palamon heard the lark, he arose with holy heart and high spirit to go on his pilgrimage to the blessed and gracious Cytherea, I mean Venus, worthy of all reverence, and in her hour he walked forth on foot to the tournament grounds and into her temple. And down he kneeled, and with humble bearing and aching heart he spoke as I shall tell you.
Fairest of fair, daughter to Jove and spouse to Can, O Venus, my lady, you who gladdens the mount of Cithaeron, have pity on my bitter burning tears, and receive my humble prayer at your heart. By that love you bore to Adonis, alas, I have no language to express the torments of this hell.
And up rose Emily and hastened forth to the temple of Diana. Her maidens she had with her prepared the fire, the incense, the vestments, horns full of mead, and was the custom, and all the rest that appertained to the sacrifice. Nothing was lacking, while the temple full of beautiful hastings.
I ask you, by your own three forms, help me, since you can, and grant me this one grace. Send love and peace between Arcite and Palamon that love me so surely, and so turn away their hearts from me that all their hot desire and love and busy torment and flames be quenched or turned elsewhere.
In the next hour of Mars, after this, Arcita went forth on foot to the temple of fierce Mars, to do his sacrifice with all the rites of his pagan faith. With devout heart and high reverence, he said his prayer to Mars thus.
May be mine the travail, yours be the glory. Your supreme temple will I most reverse of any place, and ever most toil in your strong calling and to do your pleasure. And in your temple I will hang up my banner and all the arms of my fellows, and evermore until the day I die, I will maintain an eternal fire before you.
I was thinking about the gods deciding which one they were going to help. Imagine if there is a disagreement and they go to fight. My soldier deserves to be blessed. No, my soldier is more worthy. And then another one arrives. No, 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 no soldier is going to marry the princess.
That's funny. But the story ends with death and tears.
The woeful spirit in my heart cannot declare one point of all my bitter sorrows to your my lady, that I love most. But since my life can last no longer, To you above every creature I beneath, to you the devotion of my soul. Many days I have had strife and rancor here with my cousin Palamon, for the love of you and for jealousy. And may Jupiter, so wise, guide my soul to speak kindly of a lover and faithfully on in all points, that is to say, of fidelity, honor, and knighthood, prudence, humility, station, and noble lineage, nobility, and all such virtues. So may Jupiter have concern for my heart, as I know of none now in this world so worthy of love as Palamon, who serves you and will his entire life. And if you shall ever wed, forget not the noble Palamon.
It's interesting to see how selfish they are with each other, but how, in the name of love, they are willing to leave that behind. Arcida's worst nightmare would be seeing the princess with Palamon. According to him, he wouldn't stand knowing the love of his life was taken. It would be a huge and unbearable pain, especially taken by someone he held so dearly. Through all the story, we can see how they are willing to fight against each other and even to die, but never to give up. In their prayers, they wish to win or to die. Actually, they would be much happier if they died, rather than simply losing, and this just shows how much pride they've got. Although moments before Arcida dies, he seems happy to see Princess with Palamon. It seems that he knew no one else would be better for her, if not him. This for me expresses love and pride at its purest form. Losing will leave him miserable, but dying made him find peace and freedom.
So, the tale shows many things. Among them, how love is the strongest feeling of all. How loving someone can become sad to the same extent that they would be happy if they had their loved one. That is, how love is a feeling that can provoke us to several other feelings.
And love wins all.
Guys, that was our analysis. It was very good to discuss with you. We will meet in the next episode of Discussing Literature.
Bye!